Welcome back, viewers. We are back on the Dart today. So our goal is to try to keep all the fluids inside this car. We're struggling with that. We have a bunch of stuff that's leaking. We're gonna try to combo a whole bunch of jobs at one time. Sam has new headers for this car because the ones that are on it are bashed to crap. He has a new starter, which we need to take the headers off to get to. He also has new freeze plugs, which we need to take the headers off to get to. So we're gonna try to combo all of that and then try to seal up a whole bunch of other leaks. Try to get this thing a little bit closer to the road. Alright, I forgot my tripod, so you guys are riding on the jack handle right now. Thanks, Puddin', for that tip. Anyway, Sam's got the fan off. Carburetor should be ready to pull off except for the return spring. Don't get that guy hooked in your thumb, that sucks. Watch one of my videos, I'll maybe have that in there. I got filleted or hooked a freaking return spring on Steve's Hornet. So the water pump leaks in this thing also. So we're just kind of doing a couple things at once here, but we're going to slam the lift plate on here and pull the whole engine up so that we can get the headers undone and then go after the freeze plugs. So we got the passenger side motor mount bolt, or at least the nut is loose. Sam's on the back side of the driver's side motor mount. Both of the headers are off. They're just dangling there. We're gonna pop this other motor mount bolt out and then go back and shove through the passenger side. Then we can get the lift in here and actually pull this thing up high enough to get the headers out. We did find the smoking gun to one of our coolant leaks. So if you can see here, this gasket must have been stuck to the water pump, and then when it was installed, it must have wiggled enough and it pushed the gasket right past the water pump there, and it was just pouring out right here. So this is exactly how it came off the car. Likely the water pump is still good, sounds good, it moves free, so we just need a new gasket and to actually have this go on right so that it doesn't push it over. So at this point, we're gonna, let's see, we got both of the motor mounts, the nuts are off, we gotta shove both back out. The water pump is off, obviously. Everything else is moved out of the way in the front. So we can lift up the engine now, get those motor mount bolts out, and then get the headers out of the way. And then finally we can swap out the starter for a smaller one, and then do everything else. All right, we've been working on this for a while. We got the passenger side header out, had to actually cut it apart. The driver side header, and any of you guys that have worked on an A-body Mopar with headers, look at this mess in here. Steering box is right here. The header wraps around. Actually, the steering arm goes through the headers, so we have to disassemble a suspension stuff just to get that out of there. What we're going to do is, the instructions from TTI say that you just have to lift the front of the engine up, and we have the hoist hooked up right there. But the distributor's hitting the firewall right by the wiper motor there. So we're going to pull the distributor out, make sure that we're at top dead center on one, pull that, then we can lift the whole thing up higher, and then maybe cut this header apart to get it out. Then we can start on freeze plugs. All right, viewers, things have regressed, or should I say have progressed. So we've made the decision. We've talked about it. This engine and transmission is coming out of this car. It would have been awesome if we could have found a way to make this work without doing this, but in order to change those freeze plugs, as well as do some wiring cleanup and some other stuff under the hood, as well as the brake line, I think it'll be a lot easier if we just pull it out. There's only like 6 or 8 bolts holding us from doing that. So we got another guy here. Between the three of us, we're going to rip this whole thing out as one, and then we can get started making progress on maybe freeze plugs or something like that. All right, greetings from underneath the car. So we just removed the drive shaft from pinion, the rear end. We're gonna pull it out from transmission. Here's the drain pan. We're planning on draining the whole trans. And then we can disconnect it from cross member and hopefully pull the engine and trans as one unit. All right, friends and viewers, here we are. This thing is just about ready to pull out. Transmission's disconnected from the bottom, hood's off, and this thing is about halfway out already. So we're going to continue to rip this thing out the front, pull it all out as one piece, and then get started on everything else. Nice. Now we can actually work on this thing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do. Look at that motor mounts. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're fucked. Like,
So
it's amazing they were holding the fucker in there at all.
In the TTI instructions, it said, now would be a good time to check your motor mounts. I'm like, Steve, how are the motor mounts? He's like, fucked.
They're destroyed. So maybe this is actually a good thing. I don't know. Most people wouldn't start with this process, but
Most people would look at this and be like, this is a terrible thing. And we're like, no.
yeah, it's gonna be fine. All right, so here we are, 340 727 out of the car. We have a whole bunch of work to do on this thing. Number one through number 7 probably would be the freeze plugs. Right here you can see there's evidence of that one's been leaking for a while. This one's probably not far behind it. So we have a whole freeze plug kit. We plan on doing all of them. Sam does also want to power wash all the gunk off of this thing, give it a paint job. And I don't know if you can see, but these were at one time motor mounts. That's what those are called. Yeah, engine mounts. Sorry, this is an engine, not a motor. Anyway, those are destroyed, so he needs new ones of those. And now that we have all this room for activities under the hood here, this thing is going to get a scuff and shoot of black paint. Watch my other video about my Datsun, about how to do that. It's literally that easy. There's also going to be a painless wiring kit going in here. So not bad for an afternoon's work. We still have a whole bunch more to go. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. I know this week's video was a little bit shorter. We hit quite a few snags trying to get that engine out of there. It is an A-body Mopar, so it's a challenge. Anyway, look for the link to the merch store. That is going to be live in the next few weeks. I think we're going to start out with just these shop shirts and some regular t-shirts. Any of you that buy a shirt, thank you so much. That helps the channel, helps the parts fund. Also, if you haven't noticed on the main channel page, there is now a link to a parts fund. There's no pressure, but if you feel like donating, if you feel like contributing to the parts fund, helping get the Datsun on the road, working on the Oldsmobile or the Hornet or the Dart, feel free. There's no pressure, there's no strings attached to that, and I appreciate every single one of you. So once again, the merch link will be live in the next few weeks. We're going to start off with pretty basic designs. Anybody that wants anything, you should be able to click that link and order online, and everything will be taken care of from there. I've got a ton of stuff coming up for the Datsun, waiting on a couple parts to come in for that. Then I have a video going over the turbo stuff. And of course, we are working on the Hornet again. There's quite a bit coming on that car. I think what we're going to try to do from here is get a big group of us to try to hit Power Tour 2024. S Motorsports is probably going to go. Sam with his Dart, we're going to try to get that going. We're going to try to get the Datsun there, as well as the Hornet. We'll see what we can't pull off, but stay tuned. There's going to be a ton of work prepping all those cars for that trip. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Check out the merch, and we'll see you in the next one.